On October 6, 2020, the juice company Ocean Spray gifted a man a new Nissan truck that was packed full of cran raspberry juice. To understand why this happened, we need to go all the way back to 1976 when a band in emotional turmoil was recording their latest album in California. Fleetwood Mac was looking to create a successful follow up to their eponymous 1975 album, which was the first to include guitarist Lindsey Buckingham and vocalist Stevie Nicks. During the recording of the album, Nicks and Buckingham were breaking up with each other. Drummer and founding member Mick Fleetwood was going through a divorce with his wife, who had been having an affair with Fleetwood's best friend, and bassist John McVie and singer-slash-keyboardist Christine McVie had divorced after 8 years of marriage. Also, everyone was doing a lot of cocaine. Despite, or perhaps because of the dense emotional anguish the band was experiencing, the record they created, Rumors, was a runaway success, hitting number 1 in the UK charts and the US Billboard 200. Rumors earned the Grammy Award for Album of the Year in 1978 and has been included on several publications' lists of the best albums of the 1970s and the best albums of all time. Each of the 4 singles released for the album hit the US top 10, with the second single, released on March 24th of 1977, becoming the band's only number 1 single in the US. The entire album was recorded in the main studio of the record plant in Sausalito, California, but the number 1 single was written in another studio on site. One day, when I wasn't required in the main studio, I took a Fender Rhodes piano and went into another studio that was said to belong to Sly Stone of Sly and the Family Stone. It was a black and red room with a sunken pit in the middle where there was a piano and a big black velvet bed with Victorian drapes. I sat down on the bed with my keyboard in front of me. I found a drum pattern, switched my little cassette player on, and wrote the song in about 10 minutes, said Stevie Nicks. Other members of the band were reluctant to record the song, with Christine McVie calling it boring. But Nicks insisted, and McVie changed her mind after Buckingham had his way with the track, proving that the Buckingham-Nicks dynamic worked flawlessly on a professional level, even as their personal relationship struggled. Flash forward to September 25th, 2020. Life is Hell, Rumors singles still receive regular radio play, and U.S. resident Nathan Apodaca's truck is broken down on his way to work at an Idaho potato processing plant. Apodaca grabs his trusty longboard and a bottle of cran raspberry juice from the truck, and on his way to work he shoots a quick TikTok of himself boarding, enjoying some juice, and lip-syncing to a song Stevie Nicks wrote in 10 minutes 44 years ago. Responding to Apodaca's refreshing good vibes and good taste in music, the TikTok goes viral and Fleetwood Mac's number 1 single hits the US charts again and reaches number 1 on iTunes. On October 4th, 2020, Mick Fleetwood himself recreates the TikTok, and 2 days later, Ocean Spray capitalizes on Apodaca's appeal by giving him a truck full of juice and the truck to go with it. Just like Ocean Spray, we too want a piece of Apodaca's good vibes and success. That's right. We're talking Fleetwood Mac's Dreams on Cover Me. That's right. It's Cover Me, the only podcast that talks about famous songs and their many cover versions and compares them against one another to find out which one will only love you when it's playing. I'm your host, as always, Jake Cressy, joined by my for sale co-host,
Alex Mildenberger.
Alex Mildenberger. I forgot to write out the that part of the intro, so that was on the fly. Have you any dreams you'd like to sell? You know,
Am I selling
that's where it's
dreams?
from. Yeah. That's you. Alex, how you doing?
I got a dream. It's the Scorpion King movie. Don't worry about it too much, though.
Did you watch the Scorpion King movie recently?
It was a couple months ago, and then I had a dream about it.
Now, okay, just like you were asleep and it was like the Scorpion King? Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't I'm like, I want to make a Scorpion King movie. Because no one's done it before. No, there's so many Scorpion King movies. No, I just had a dream about a Scorpion King sequel. But, I got to keep that secret. I don't want anyone stealing my Scorpion King sequels.
Right. Scorpion King 2.
Actually, it would be like Scorpion King 6, I think.
Oh, sure.
Because there's so many.
You just call it Scorpion King, probably. Hell,
Reboot.
Tell you what,
Reboot.
Just a picture of a scorpion and just the word king. That's the title.
Ah, yes. Also, Jason Momoa is the Scorpion King. Don't steal that.
Yeah. Oh, easily. I mean, anybody was going to do that.
The Rock could probably still be the Scorpion King.
Well, you'd throw him in a cameo. He'd be like the old Scorpion King, or they'd have like a statue of him or something.
Something like that.
Let's do it like Scorpion King meets Encino Man. So it's the Jason Momoa winds up in a modern
and Brendan
city.
Fraser's still in it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Great. All right.
All right. Yeah, dog. We're talking about Fleetwood Mac again. Let's talked about them, but this is a different Fleetwood Mac.
This is the third time we're talking about Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah.
But technically different from the last time. Because last time it was Peter Green Fleetwood Mac, which was pre-Buckingham Nicks Fleetwood Mac.
Alex, you say the full title when you say Peter Green's Fleetwood Mac with Jeremy Moner or
Jeremy
whatever the
Spencer.
fuck his name. That's the one.
Featuring Jeremy Spencer.
That's it.
Gotta
say the whole thing.
The Fleetwood Mac Blues Band featuring Peter Green and Jeremy Spencer.
That's the one, baby. Yeah, so this is different. This is the Bucks nicking ham shit, you know?
That's exactly it. The more Alex, well-known, probably. Definitely.
Oh, for sure.
Version of the band.
And this album in particular is like the Fleetwood Mac album.
Yeah. I mean, what else is there? I mean, I drove to Revelstoke listening to Say You Will on repeat, but no one else has done that, as far as I know.
Just like from Calgary to Revelstoke?
Well, it wasn't actually on repeat, but I swear we probably listened to it about 5 times throughout the trip. I went on a road trip with my family when I was like, probably, oh geez, I don't know when that came out, but I would have been very young. In the ballpark of 8 to 11 years old.
Okay, all right.
So the point is, this is the album everyone knows.
This is the album everyone knows. This is definitely what got me into Fleetwood Mac. Yeah, and it pretty much bangs from front to back.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. And this song in particular, obviously, it's the one that went to number 1. It's the one a lot of people know. And it's got some good lines in the chorus that are kind of stick with you.
Oh yeah, it's got some real good sticks in your mind kind of lines here. Now, Alex, you and I aren't on TikTok. We're old farts.
Yeah.
But I stay up on the Twitter, so I was aware of this video. I think I just told you about this last week.
Yeah, that's why I know about
video, aka 420 Dogface 208. Of
course.
Alex, what are your feelings on the video?
The video? I mean, it's bad times, good vibes. It's that Frank Turner John Snodgrass song that just came out.
Hey, yeah. That's right,
so
Alex.
I support it.
Yeah, I'm all in favor of it. It's makes me want to go longboard and drink some, not cranberry red. I don't like that Ocean Spray is getting their fingers in this.
Yeah, I mean, of all people, Ocean Spray.
Yeah, fuck.
I'm alright with cran raspberry, but like, I couldn't do a whole bottle of it. That's a lot.
Yeah,
not anymore. Not like my old days. Whew.
Were you a big cran ras boy back in the day?
No, it was just made available to me when I wasn't drinking a lot. So I ended up drinking a lot of cran raspberry juice for a while there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah, not my thing. And I don't know. I just don't like corporations getting their hands in whatever.
Yeah, trying to like make bank off memes. And you're like, okay, dude, just let everyone longboard or whatever.
Yeah, just let people enjoy something this year
without like trying to profit off it. I don't know. It does kind of suck.
But now people are, buying the cranberry juice so they can recreate the TikTok themselves. I just about called it a Vine because I'm ancient.
Yeah. That said, I'm sure a lot of people don't have to buy the cranberry juice. It's just in their fridge. I don't know how it gets there, but it always does.
Yeah, it finds its way in.
So maybe not as much profit as they think. Plus, they give some guy a truck, which is kind of nice. But we're also kind of advertising for them right now, so.
Yeah. That said, Ocean Spray tastes like shit and it kills whales or something. I don't know. I probably can't say that. That's liable, but it does taste like shit. That's an opinion, and I'm allowed to have that.
I mean, we're all kind of killing whales in our own way.
I mean, it's certainly not helping the whales.
No.
With that, I mean, yeah, Dreams is a great song. We all love it. We all know it. Let's talk about these lyrics, Alex. Let's get right the fuck into it.
Talk about these lyrics. So we haven't talked about Rumors specifically yet. We talked about their first album, and of course we talked about Peter Green. And of course, as you mentioned, Rumors is kind of famously was famously made at a time when there was a lot of emotional turmoil going on in the band, and basically the whole thing was them writing songs about each other, and then kind of knowing, but kind of maybe not talking about it directly.
Yeah, so there is some people that say this song is written half in response to Go Your Own Way, which was written by Buckingham about Nix.
Okay, I wasn't sure which one would have come first, sort of chronologically.
Mm-hmm.
But so
But
this would be
it
the
is Go Your
response.
Own Way, yeah. And this one kind of comes because she didn't like that, obviously, she heard and was like, well, it's about me, and also fuck you, Buckingham,
Yeah.
piece of shit.
Fuck you, fucking ham.
You got him, Alex. So yeah, this comes as a response to that. It's sort of Stevie Nicks' take on their relationship. And interestingly enough, as we'll come to the lyrics, she kind of later has said that she's the one who really wanted to leave the relationship. But this song is sort of criticizing Buckingham for wanting to leave the relationship.
Yes. Which becomes pretty
Yeah.
evident in the first line. Now here
Yeah.
you go again. You say you want your freedom. Well, who am I to keep you down? It's only right that you should play the way you feel it, but listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, I mean, pretty explicit, like right off the beginning, right off the start. Excuse me. Saying like all right, you're saying you want out, like you want to be free and you want to be out of this relationship. Well, okay, fine.
Yeah, who
Go
am I
your own
to
way.
stop you? Yeah, and it's I guess it is important to note that they were in a sort of on and off again relationship. So here you go again is very literal. It's like, oh, you want to break up again? Okay.
Yeah, like we're doing this again. The one of the comments in the Ingenious seems to suggest that Lindsey Buckingham kind of like repeatedly would like maybe threaten to leave. I don't know if that's true or
Mm.
not. It seems very
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
everything about this album we know is also obscured behind a mist of cocaine. Like,
Yeah, cocaine and like they're all just like rumors.
yeah, so there's just like a lot of shit being said. And that's, yeah, rumor is true in that there was a lot of bad press reporting going on at this time. Apparently, Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham had a photo taken with Mick Fleetwood's kid. And then it was the people were like, oh my God, this is their child now. They're the parents of Mick Fleetwood's child.
You can't take pictures with someone else's child. That's illegal.
Yeah, and
It's
it was
impossible.
rumored that I think they rumored that Christine McVie was ill at the time of the record. There was so much like genuine rumors surrounding the album. I mean, surrounding the band while they were trying to make this album. That yeah, it plays in that sense too. Yeah. So then she says, "Who am I to keep you down? Like, well, who am I to stop you? Yeah,
Mm.
it's you're." And we get this. Here she brings in the word "play," which comes up again. She's talking about
Yes.
music. You know, it's only right that you should play it the way you feel it.
Yeah, the song being like a metaphor for life, I guess. Like play your song because it's your song, it's your life or whatever. Like do whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
So
care.
you should do it the way you sounds best. And my understanding of the Nix Buckingham relationship is Nix would come up with a lot of raw stuff and then kind of process it through Buckingham. Who'd be like, we play it this way, or we're gonna do this on it. Like he kind
Right.
of
He's kind of like the producer side of it, I guess. And I mean, even
mm-hmm.
that in the story of the song, Christine McVie didn't really like it until Lindsey Buckingham came and said, like, well, let's play the chords in this way. And then everyone's
Yeah.
kind of playing something different and maybe a little more complex, even though it sort of all fits together and sounds one particular way.
Yeah. Like playing in the simplicity of it, but yeah, bringing out sort of interesting parts of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's only right that big man Lindsey Buckingham should play it the way he feels it. But she says, listen carefully to the sound of your loneliness, because that's what you're gonna hear.
Because that's part of the song, because the song is his whole life.
Yeah, your
Man.
loneliness, and then of course it connects to the pre-chorus. Listen carefully to the sound of your
Yeah, I really like
loneliness.
how those flow into each other, because it almost
Mm-hmm.
doesn't sound like a transition, but the music does change.
Yeah, like a heartbeat drives you mad. So listen to the sound of your loneliness like a heartbeat drives you mad, and the stillness of remembering what you had and what you lost and what you had and what you lost.
Also, the sound of a heartbeat driving you mad is possibly a reference to the Telltale Heart. I don't know if it means anything necessarily, but just like casual reference throwing out.
I am not familiar with the Telltale Heart.
Oh, I think I brought it up before. It's Edgar Allan Poe story where a guy like kills a guy and then hides him under his floorboards, and then
Okay.
people come to his house and he's like trying to hide it, but he's hearing the heartbeat, and he ends up just like going crazy and like
Ah.
confessing or something.
That could be a reference to
But
that.
possible, like not a terribly meaningful reference, but it's this kind of thing. Like eventually, this sound, hearing it in your head over and over again, is going to have an effect on you, and eventually you're gonna
Yeah.
have to face that.
Right, and then it's in the stillness of remembering. So in these lonely moments, you're gonna hear your own single heartbeat too, right?
Right. Yes, I guess that too. There's only one heart beating,
Mm-hmm. And
and it will
obviously, what
remind
he
you of what
had
you had
was,
and what you lost.
which was Stevie Nicks and his relationship with her.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty clear. And then we come into the chorus, which says, "Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing. Say women, they will come and they will go. When the rain washes you clean, you'll know. You'll know."
And this is, of course, the lines everybody knows. What I was amazed by is how many people I would say, "Oh, like if I was talking about how I was listening to the song this week, I would say we're doing Dreams by Fleetwood Mac," and they'd say, "I don't think I know that song," and then I would say, "It's the one where they do Thunder Only Happens When It's Raining," and then they instantly know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So like this is a really sort of iconic part of the song.
Yeah, it's I mean it is the chorus. Everybody
Yeah.
knows it. It's and as we're gonna see, this song is frequently used as a dance track as well. A quote
Yeah.
from Stevie Nicks actually mentions that she was quite proud of herself for using a dance beat while she was recording it.
Oh,
She
right.
says,
She
"Right away, I
said the
liked the
drums.
fact that I was doing something with a dance beat because that made it a little unusual for me."
Yeah, I guess
But
the
more on that, yeah.
group isn't really affiliated with that kind of music.
Mm-hmm. So thunder only happens when it's raining. It seems to be that. Like, is this like when it rains, it pours? When something starts to happen, more things come with that. So bad things of this nature only happen when it's already bad.
Maybe. I was having some trouble with this line. Um and I don't know exactly how I um how I would take it. Um Sorry, I'm tripping over my own thoughts here.
That's okay.
I mean, it's kind of a yeah, I think it's almost reminiscent of like a where there's smoke there's fire kind of thing. Of like you only get one with the other. Some of the genius annotations suggest that the thunder is like a flash of light, kind of like a positive thing, whereas rain is like sadness. So
Right.
there's a suggestion that there's only this extreme positive when there's some negative or something like that. Kind of have
Mm.
that contrast of you can only really experience true happiness when you've experienced sadness or something like that.
I feel like I don't know. I don't know if I buy that for this.
Yeah, it's I'm not totally on board with it either, I'll admit.
Because if we look at players only love you when they're playing, which is a double entendre, the more obvious one being that these players, so kind of like sexually loose people
Right.
who play relationships like a game, only love you when they're playing. So when they're switched on and they're like, oh, we're engaged in the game of love. This is I love you. But as soon as
Right.
they kind of take off that mask, it's not real.
Yeah.
And similarly, guitar players like Lindsey Buckingham
Oh,
only
yeah, I
love
guess
you
so.
when they're playing guitar. So when their dynamic works is on that professional level, that's where the love really shines.
Right, because he's the guitar player.
Mm-hmm.
I do
And
like that. I mean, I have also heard player used to refer to like an actor,
right, yeah.
which is basically the same thing.
Mm-hmm. And then I've never really pieced together that the line following that is in relation to players. That players say women they will come and they will go.
Or it's more like you will say that or something like that.
He's I think very clearly indicted as the player.
Yeah, I guess so.
So they say women, they will come and they will go, but she in the next line says, "Well, that's not true. When the rain washes you clean, so when you're out of this this negative scenario, and you've had some space from this event, and you're sitting there with your loneliness, you'll know that that's not true. Women don't just come and go."
Yeah, it'll become more obvious. I'm still a little unsure about the thunder line. That's got to be,
Hmm.
and I wish I had thought more about it coming into this, but I forgot to. Um,
Right. So somebody in the genius annotations, one person suggests the rain is success. So that's so like all this tumultuous and the thunder, loud and scary, is only happening due to their great success.
right. I'm trying to think of it in relation to the final line, the idea of the rain washing you clean and kind of becoming like perhaps your redemption or you realizing something in the end, and then
Hmm.
tying it into that sort of process.
I think it is just like sort of maybe it does refer to circumstances, not necessarily success, but it's like these current events we're in, like the thunder's only happening because we're in a time of strife right now. We're only at each other's throats because so much is happening here. And once the situation passes, when the rain washes you clean, you're gonna be like, oh shit.
Yeah, it'll become obvious that you maybe made the wrong decision, but in the moment, it's not as obvious.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I'll accept the rain as circumstance, whether that is success, whether that is just like stressful events that then cause sort of passionate breakouts.
I guess my next thought is just because of the last line talking about the rain washing you clean and you having some realization is that the rain is some sort of embodiment of like personal growth. So then the thunder is
Hmm.
this turmoil. So you can only sort of achieve personal growth through hardship, is perhaps what it's
Right.
suggesting. And then kind of having some specific examples of what's going on.
Yeah, I'd say that's all roughly in the same vein. We're
Yeah.
we're hitting the same theme just from different angles here.
Yeah. Maybe not in the most eloquent way, but I think we're hitting on it. If we
Yeah,
if
hey,
we
if you
edit
want
it ourselves, we
eloquence,
may take out some lines, but I think we have the ideas in place.
I think we got the ideas there. So then we come to verse 2. Now here I go again. I see the crystal visions. I keep my visions to myself. It's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams. Have you any dreams you'd like to sell? Dreams of loneliness.
Yeah, I think this is a big line in like neo-pagan like witchiness as associated with Stevie Nicks because it is often associated with Stevie Nicks.
Hmm.
Because you get this like crystal ball gazing and talking about like selling dreams and stuff. This is all very like mystical,
Yeah,
just
I see the
generally.
crystal visions. I see
Yeah,
a vision in a crystal ball. That's pretty plain.
yeah, yeah.
And then, but she keeps her visions to herself. Genius suggests that that's because she sees a life together that she's not going to tell him about. I feel that it's more she's not going to tell him the exact downfalls that are going to occur to him.
Because you can't tell people about their own future.
Yeah, I
Because
mean, she can be like, well, it's, listen, all she's really said is you're going to be lonely.
yeah, and perhaps also means that she's not totally trusting. Like that part of the relationship isn't there.
Hmm.
Um, but she does want to wrap around his dreams.
Yeah, so this kind of plays into, and she says it's only me, which plays into this idea of women will come and go. She's saying this is sort of counter to that argument. She says it's only me who wants to wrap around your dreams. I'm the only one who actually wants to support your ambitions.
Right. But your dreams are lonely because you've clearly rejected other
Yeah,
people.
here he goes again. The one dream he has to sell, the one to tell her about, is him wanting his freedom, which she reestablishes as a dream of loneliness.
Yeah. And then smooth again right into the
Like a
pre-chorus.
heartbeat drives you mad. Yeah,
And I mean that's all the lyrics. I don't
that
know.
is all the lyrics. It ends on "You will know," repeated several times.
Which is a fun way of doing that because it's like very much emphasizing that line. Like you are gonna realize one day what's going on.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened ultimately.
Well,
But
it sold a
she
lot of
clearly
records, I'll tell you
spelled it
that.
out. Sold a lot of records.
Yeah, so yeah, eventually in summary the song is like, "Hey Lindsey Buckingham, you can break up with me, but it's going to suck for you."
Yeah. You're making a mistake.
And that's the lyrics. They're good lyrics. I like them. It's good shit.
Yeah, it's got that quality of like vagueness about them. You can delve into them and realize a lot of it's like kind of literal actually, but in context of like just the context of the song, I guess devoid of context around surrounding the song, I could say. It's tough to know exactly what they're about, but they're kind of phrased in a way that's very interesting. Obviously, the chorus is very iconic, despite even without the rest of the song or any other information. So.
Yeah, and what's interesting about the way this is delivered, I've never really, I've casually listened to this song. I've never really picked up on sort of the vitriol in this piece, the anger, because she sings it quite lovingly.
Yeah, it's very soft and
Yeah,
dare I say dreamy.
yeah, you dare. But it throws you, or at least it threw me off in a way, and I think sort of speaks to the relationship dynamic of these two, at least as we can understand it from the materials available to us. That there is still like a love and respect, even though as a romantic pair they can't work out.
Yeah, very clearly they had a lot of problems, but they, to a degree, did still stick together, even if it wasn't romantically.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe it was just for the sweet, sweet cash, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. It seems even in the way they. Let me see if we've got a quote. Oh yeah, so Stevie Nicks recalled to the Daily Mail on October 16th in 2009. I remember the night I wrote Dreams. I walked in and handed a cassette of the song to Lindsey. It was a rough take, just me singing solo and playing piano. Even though he was mad with me at the time, Lindsey played it and then looked up at me and smiled. What was going on between us was sad. We were couples who couldn't make it through, but as musicians, we still respected each other, and we got some brilliant songs out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's the other thing is with their sort of songwriting being about everything that was going on at the time, it's very much like a way of processing it and perhaps communicating with each other indirectly, getting across what you're feeling to the other person without having to tell them necessarily.
It's a very strange form of therapy, but
yeah,
hey.
I don't know if it's the healthiest way to do it, but
yeah, I don't know.
They seem to have gotten something out of it.
Yeah. Now let's get something out of this instrumentation, which opens up with a rhythm section being established. That very quick kind of drum roll in by Mick Fleetwood, and then the bass comes in.
Yeah, and as much as it doesn't last very long, and then the rest of the rhythm really isn't trying to get anywhere very fast. Like it's kind of a laid back song.
Yeah, it's the bass line is simple as hell. The drums are kind of quiet and easy, but they have that almost machine-like rhythm. Like it's just very precise.
Yes, I'm trying to remember. I think it's from a quote, but I happen to agree with it. I don't remember the quote. Described the rhythm as steady, and it really is. It just like keeps it going. And I think part of that too is the transitions between the sections being fairly quick. Like especially the verse into the pre-chorus, like goes right in. The song just keeps moving.
Mm-hmm.
And like doesn't stop really. Except maybe for the solo, it could be argued, but I don't know. Maybe not. But yes, then you get the kind of like I don't know if it's the Rhodes, but it's some kind of electric piano. Like that's Christine McVie.
Oh yeah, doing that.
Well, she's just playing the chords. And then
Oh yeah.
Lindsey Buckingham is actually playing that part on the guitar.
Right,
They're
yeah,
like
he's
kind
doing
of.
the chords on this are not very present to me. I can't really hear them that well.
I agree, and I think part of that, well, they're a little turned down, but I know, like in the story of the song, they started with kind of the progression from Stevie Nicks, and then Lindsey Buckingham said, "Let's play it in this particular way," and apparently everyone was playing kind of different inversions of the chords, and I think that makes it sort of spread out and make it so that the actual progression kind of gets hidden. I don't
Yeah,
totally know, but because I've never really picked out like a chord progression from this song as like the driving force behind it. Like I've always kind of heard the chords, some chords just being played, the boom, boom, kind of on the bass too, and
yeah,
then that wee, 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 like those kind of just meld together for me when I listen to this song, and like that's the sound, but not necessarily think of it in terms of like changing chords at certain
right.
points in time, like you might in some other songs that are more based around like an acoustic guitar strumming, for example.
No, yeah, I agree with you. It's much less. It's much more. It's like an invisible seam kind of running through it. You can't really see it, or in this case,
Yes.
hear it.
Yes. Exactly. But I do find it very hard to pick out.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And even that bass line is kind of. I find the bass line is really one part that I remember a lot.
Oh
Even though
yeah.
it's not complicated, it's kind of more present than a lot of the rest.
Yeah. It's just it kind of like it holds everything together
And
along with those drums.
yeah, and it's just like boom, boom,
Da-dum,
boom, boom,
da-dum,
like it's
da-dum.
not much going on. But then it kind of combines with that guitar sound to make they just kind of flow together.
Yeah.
Really
Well, that
cool.
yeah
And
that
that's
that guitar is really ambient in the. It's not doing. It's really not doing lead parts and it's not doing rhythm. So it is
right.
just kind of playing licks on top of different sections.
Right, it is, but it's kind of different. Like I would like to compare it to when we talked about Black Magic Woman or any of a number of pop, rock, and blues songs where, you sing a line and then you'll do a guitar lick afterwards. And that's kind of a pretty distinctively like bluesy sound a lot of the time. And this kind of
Mm-hmm.
uses that,
Yeah.
but it doesn't sound bluesy at all. It sounds very distinctive to this song or this sound. And
It
it's
does.
a similar
I
idea, but it's presented in a very different way and kind of makes it flow in a different way. It's very cool.
yeah. Yeah, some of that I think is just the tone on the guitar is not very bluesy. It's something else.
Yes, I mean, sonically, the sound here, like,
Yeah.
what is this sound? I don't know. Lindsey
It's dreams,
Buckingham made it
baby.
do that, and it sounds cool.
That's right.
Dreamy.
Yeah. So when we come to the pre-chorus, we kind of established what the verses are.
Mm-hmm.
The pre-chorus, we start getting some backup vocals from Christine McVie. The guitar starts actually just doing more like clear arpeggios than these licks. And
Mm-hmm.
then we get vibraphone as well.
Vibraphone.
We do. You go to like 107, it's a dun dun dun.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I think
that's
also in the
Christine McVie
pre-chorus,
as well.
the like piano chords or electric piano organ, I guess.
Oh yeah.
They like move up a bit, but they're still kind of doing the same thing.
We do get this sense of building, which is then topped off with another drum roll into the chorus. Thunder only happens.
Yeah, so like we get that thunder and then like a cymbal crash.
Yeah.
So clever, guys. Maybe not the
Pretty
most
clever.
sophisticated technique, but clever.
Clever. This we get a switch up to acoustic guitar, and then we have Christine McVie and Lindsey Buckingham on backing vocals at this part.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your electric piano is a lot louder in this part. You can actually hear it much clearer.
Yes. The guitar is also doing, like, I don't know exactly what it's doing. Maybe it's not the guitar. Right around on the, like, the beginning of the Say Women, They Will Come and They Will Go line, it's like 128. You get this,
Yeah.
like, whoa, and I don't know if that's a guitar or what.
I think that's a synth. There's
I
several
guess so.
synths on this track, and just the way that one's ringing quite high up there, right?
Yeah.
That doesn't scream guitar
Sometimes
to
in the
me.
70s, I'm like, they didn't have synthesizers, but this was like 76, so they did.
Yeah, and luckily the personnel is actually listed for this. So what we have here from Christine McVie, she uses an electric piano and organ. She's a vibraphone as well.
She does have organs.
So yeah, it's would an organ be able to produce that noise?
Maybe. Could be also a weird Rhodes thing too.
Could be.
Rhodes organs?
Rhodes is not actually listed on the personnel on Wikipedia.
Okay.
Although it was originally written on a Rhodes.
Yeah, I'm reading that off of Genius, so
okay.
I guess it's a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, and that depends on where they're pulling this this information from. It could be a Rhodes, like
whatever's playing, it makes a kind of a wah sound.
Yeah.
Pretty briefly.
And then so once we get from the chorus, we go to an instrumental break, very focused on that guitar.
Yes, that guitar sound gets to do a little solo. You can see it in the what they call the official music video, but it's just a live performance.
Yeah.
So if you want to check that out, that's on YouTube.
Yeah, and it's not even the studio recording played over a stage performance. It just is a different performance of the song.
So I don't know why they call it the official music video, but
because it's the official music video is used to promote the thing, but
I guess
it doesn't use the studio recording.
Whatever, Fleetwood Mac. Whatever you want to call a music video. It's the mid-70s. No one. There weren't any rules yet.
Yeah. And then honestly, like verse 2, same as the first, a little more action on that spacey kind of guitar.
Yes. One thing I want to call out, right on the "Wrap Around Your Dreams" line.
Yeah.
The bass gets to do a little bum, ba-dum, bum, ba.
Oh yeah, it follows the vocal melody.
Yeah, and that is pretty cool. So thumbs up. I don't know why I like it's again. I follow the bass so much easier than I do on most songs.
There's a lot of space for it in this one, and it is very simple and easy to follow.
Yeah. So this is one part where it does a thing. Check it out.
Yeah. That's always tight with the bass because it's like a little treasure when you find something that it does. You're like, oh, you had something different here.
Yeah, amazing. No, yeah, I agree. That's like, for some reason, hearing the bass do something cool is, I don't know. It hits you somewhere because you're like not expecting it, and then it's cool, and I don't know, man.
I don't know. You like hear it by itself, and then you're like, well, why did it do that? And then you kind of hear it with the rest of the music. You're like, oh yeah. Like maybe these bassists do something. I don't know.
Bass players? Is the bass important? Is there a reason we still have bass players in bands? It doesn't sound right.
Doesn't sound right.
This is a part of the song right at the end here, like transition into the pre-chorus. Stevie Nicks really sounds like her nose is plugged. A couple times in the song. This is one time. I think possibly just from cocaine use. Maybe she had a cold. I don't know, but like
cocaine.
There was a lot of cocaine going around. So anyway, just something I noticed.
Well, does he have? Yeah, I can hear it a little.
Because especially when she says loneliness, loneliness, like you kind of get that nasal sound on the.
Now, something I'm just noticing on the chorus here on the second one is conga drums.
Conga.
Yeah, I've just noticed now it's listed in the like instrument listing on Wikipedia, but it is like it's very sparse.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a little boop boop boom.
Huh. How about that?
Yeah. Little something extra for you.
Yeah. This song's got layers, man.
Yeah, very simple, but it layers it in and still manages this like sparse soundscape.
Yes. And I guess part of that as well, the I think it's an organ playing a higher note down, holding a higher note down as well throughout the chorus.
Yeah, you can hear that.
and then they kind of do that, like, extend the length of the chorus, do it twice, and then end on that you will know.
Yeah.
Repetitionally.
You know. And then everything just kind of rings out. The guitar does a few more notes, but it'll just.
Yeah, I mean, and I just think this song has like a good, like, distinctive sound to it.
Oh yeah.
It kind of encapsulates that dreaminess that the song is about, and
yeah, you can.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, you can like break up the song into like the smallest chunks. Like if you play somebody the drum roll at the start, that boom dump, they'll get it. If you play them just like a small cut of that bass line, they'll get it. If you play them just like a little, they'll be like, oh yeah, it's Dreams, or they'll be like, I don't, it's that Thunder song by Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, the one about thunder. And also,
yeah, you're right.
They don't like do a ton of repetition at the end. We've talked about a couple pop songs lately that does that, where it's like in the second half is this, we do the chorus like 4 or 5 times. They do some repetition, but not really. It's like, structurally speaking, the song is not like terribly unusual. It's just kind of like verse pre-chorus chorus, verse pre-chorus chorus. But they sort of present it in a somewhat interesting way, because vocally everything sort of melds together, but you still get like instrumental separation, so that's kind of fun.
Yeah, it's just a tight piece, very solid.
Yeah.
We talked about the music video with all of the length we need to talk about it. It's stage footage.
I didn't like watch it that intensely, but I mean, it's just them, they're performing it live. I don't know what else to say.
And it is slightly different from the original, so it's nice to listen to and go like, oh, that's what Fleetwood Mac sounds like live in the 70s. And then you go, okay, all right. With that, we're going to move into our covers, unless you got anything else to say.
No way, man.
Well, I hope you have something to say about Richie Havens in 1980.
Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
Richie Havens. Richie Havens is not an artist I know much about, I'll admit right now. But apparently he opened at Woodstock, so like, holy shit. Like, that's pretty cool.
So he's an American singer-songwriter and guitarist. His music is known to contain elements of soul, folk, rhythm, and blues. And he's particularly known for doing soulful covers of pop and folk songs, which this kind of falls into.
Yes. In fact,
a little bit of soul, a little bit of disco on this, I think.
A little bit of disco? All right.
Yeah, just a touch of it.
I think the beginning makes me think a little bit of the Santana version of Black Magic Woman. Mostly just because of the drums. There's like hand drums. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, the hand drums are much more prominent.
And there's organ as well.
Yeah,
so it's not like the same thing, but like it's kind of
disco tone on it.
Kind of reminds me of it a little bit.
Yeah. Then we get an acoustic guitar building in as well, while the organ's doing that downward pattern. And the hand drums are going, and there's a just like a sort of light bass groove. This boom 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 dum. Just a short phrase.
Yeah, and the acoustic guitar kind of plays along with the chords, but like strums a little more, because it's just like bum, 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 and then kind of climbs back up again, but it sort of follows. Yeah.
And then we get him coming in with the vocals at about like 40 seconds of 30 seconds.
Yeah, and like good voice.
Oh yeah, very deep, very like soulful is the only way I can think to describe it. It feels quite soothing.
Yeah, the song's like a little bit more active instrumentally than the original, but like his voice kind of keeps it down, at least at the start.
Yeah, it really grounds it.
Yeah. I described it as gruff and easy.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah. Also, he enunciates things much more clearly than on the original version.
Oh, yeah. If you need to hear what's being said, his voice almost has like a conversational tone to it.
Yes. Gruff and easy and conversational. And let's see. What else do we got? Pre-chorus kind of starts to use snare a little bit more.
Yeah, and we get these
Some
backup vocals going,
and whatnot.
that hits a little bit of a disco vibe for me.
Oh, the like quicker sounds.
Yeah, and that with the drums kicking in quicker, it's like we get a build up that could, if the next section wasn't also the song Dreams, like it could be this
Right.
big disco.
Yes, it
pop-off.
does kind of feel like it's building. I guess it does build. Maybe I'm thinking of a different version. But anyway, I'm not gonna get too distracted by my own weird thoughts.
Yeah.
Also, the rhythm guitar picks up for this. And reading about Richie Havens, I talked about his guitar playing style was intense and rhythmic. So I don't know if this part is necessarily him, but there only seems to be one guitar for now. So.
Right.
Oh no!
Also, when we get to the
that's in the
more
chorus.
in my defense of the disco influence, the guitar starts doing octaves in the chorus. Doom, bam, boom, bam. I think that's octaves. It might just be a root fifth.
Let's listen to this sound.
Oh, that's octaves.
I don't know. That's my conclusion.
Glad we got your trained ear on that, Alex.
Yep. Glad we called me in for this one.
Nonetheless, it doesn't come off as disco in the way it's played, but that is a pretty classic disco move.
Yeah.
I'm not saying this is a disco song. I'm just saying there's disco
This
elements.
is a disco song. Jake Cressy.
Yeah, God damn it, Alex.
I'm quoting you on that forever. October, is it 11th, 2020?
2020.
Jake Cressy. All right. This is also where we get the electric guitar. The electric guitar comes in, of course.
And does these sort of like distant licks in this back. This.
Yeah, I'd say it's a little more on the like bluesy side.
Yeah, 100%.
Than in the original, certainly.
Yeah, and then it plays that blues like licks between lines roll in the second verse.
Of course, now this time we don't have a solo partway through, and a lot of these versions actually do that. They don't split it up with a solo in the middle.
Well, this one has a solo close to the end.
It does have a solo, but like not in the same place.
I've never considered that part a solo, really, but like sure. It's more like a bridge.
I guess so. Thought of it as a guitar solo. It does get called a bridge, but in any case, it's not there.
Yeah. Yeah, it moves in pretty quick to the next section. The second verse plays a little more instruments than the first verse, and then the pre-chorus and chorus are pretty straightforward.
Sort of. One thing I did like, he's especially at this part, kind of singing like a bit behind the beat or like to his own kind of rhythm, you know, like he won't say the words at the exact same time, and it'll sort of feel like, oh, he's falling behind, and then he'll say a little faster, so he like stays on, and that makes it a little bit difficult to find, like, to pinpoint the moment where, for example, the pre-chorus starts, because he's kind of like a little bit slow. But I also find that style of singing comes across as very like confident. It's just this idea of like you can lag behind a bit, but it doesn't matter because you can catch up. Like, you know what's going on.
Well, yeah, you know the overall rhythm, so you know how to fill the space.
Yeah, exactly. So like I think the way he sings here comes across as very confident.
Mm-hmm.
So cool.
Yeah, dog. We get a guitar solo around the 3:30 mark. It's fine. It's not really. I wasn't like blown away by it, but it sounds good enough.
Yeah, I think because the original song, like the guitar sound is so distinctive, and when the guitar does kind of get its own moment to do its own thing, it stays that way, and it fits in so well with the rest of the song and the sound and the vibe and everything, that this like is a different version. It's maybe less distinctive than that, even though it's still a solid, consistent sound.
Yeah, it is just so much like here's a blues guitar solo, and you're like, all right.
I'm sure it's good, but like maybe if I was like a blues guitar soloist, I'd be like, oh, look at all these decisions he made here that are different in this or that way. But I don't know. Maybe not.
Maybe not. But yeah, so then we do a sort of, picked up intensity of the chorus again.
Yep, get some ad-libbing. Just a little bit.
Yeah, and he cuts loose at the end in the "You Will Knows." You will know. And interestingly, it's the backup vocals that actually carry us out on a long sustain of the word no. No.
Right. Yes. For a long time. So this version kind of makes me think of like a Joe Cocker or something like that. In my mind, I don't like Joe Cocker. I liked this though. So maybe I don't mind Joe Cocker, and I just at one point 10 years ago decided I didn't like him, and I haven't given him a chance.
I wasn't a big fan of him. I watched him open for Tom Petty.
But I've never been a huge Joe Cocker fan. But this is, I think, a pretty cool version of the song. I like the sound on this. This is a little more, I mean, this was 1980, but this sounds a little more like what I would think of as like 70s sound.
Yeah, like you reach the refined point of 80s sound.
Yeah, I guess it's.
or 70s sound.
It's just 1980. It's not like we ended everything that happened in the 70s as soon as New Year's hit.
Yeah, but he's got a good voice, and I think the blues transitions work. There's he does a lot of good things that work. It's a fun version.
Yeah,
and it does make different choices, which a lot of other cover versions will kind of hug more closely to the original.
So let's hug closely.
Yeah.
To our siblings for this
as we talk
sibling band.
The Corrs in 1998.
Yeah, thunder only happens when it's raining. The players only love you when they're playing.
An Irish band made up of the Corrs siblings from Dundalk. Originally recorded for Legacy, a tribute to Fleetwood Mac's Rumours, 20th anniversary album of covers, which includes a cover by Elton John of some song, I can't remember which, and also a cover by the Cranberries, who also have a song called Dreams.
Yeah.
So apparently originally, the Corrs played it pretty close to the original, but with sort of their Irish folk instruments, so like a tin whistle and a violin.
Mm-hmm.
And then this dude, Oliver Lieber from Tamara and the Scene, kind of produced it and changed it to a dance and house track mixed with the violin and tin whistle, and then some dude named Todd Terry remixed it as a single, and then it hit number 6 in the UK based on that.
So what version is this?
This is, I believe, the Todd Terry version.
Wait, is that the first guy or the second guy?
Second guy.
So did the second guy remix the first remix, or did he remix the original version?
He remixed the first remix.
Okay.
Made it even dancier.
Even dancier. Yeah, so this one, I mean, it's the song. It's got a lot of violin in it and like an acoustic guitar, but it's also got like this drum machine track going throughout as well.
Yeah.
And
doing like a Boots and Cats, but with a little bit of tick 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 between it.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to listen to. Which one did I watch?
Well, the music video is, I think, the Oliver Lieber version.
Yeah, because they're definitely not the same.
They're definitely not the same.
So, anyway, yeah, this one comes in with that drum machine. And
that sort of ambient like synth. Woo!
Oh, that's right. Which is it? A synth, or is that the violin?
It's the violin pulling off that sort of like.
Am I crazy?
I don't think so. I mean, I guess that's like the orchestra kind of tuning noise, right? That.
Maybe we're not talking about the same thing. I don't know.
Well, the violin comes in with that.
Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Okay, well that comes in before that and before the drums.
I see what
like
you're
the
saying.
very beginning.
You're right. Synthesizer, totally synthesizer. Yes, kind of like pad string synth kind of deal. Yeah.
Feeling like a lunatic out here, Alex. So that comes in.
We're just talking about sounds, man, and all we got are sounds.
Difficult sometimes.
Miles apart, man. Kilometers.
Yeah, so we get those club drums, those violin, and like a guitar arpeggio doing this boom boom beep beep boom.
Yeah, that's like the male core. He plays the guitar.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't look up their names.
Malecore.
Malecore.
My favorite genre. Yeah, I didn't bother looking up their names. And then we kind of break to just the drums and guitar arpeggio with the vocals.
Right.
And then the synth starts to come in low with this bam, 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 bam.
Yes, that low sound. It is very interesting.
Yeah.
I don't have much to
And
say about
then-
it other than that.
Yeah, it's just interesting. The violin comes back in on like a heartbeat, drives you mad. So on the pre-chorus, it starts building in again. And then we get some ooh backup vocals similar to the original. As this, Witcher ass violin builds up.
Yes, I guess that's Celtic. Is the Witcher music considered Celtic?
Probably.
Okay. I haven't played The Witcher.
I
I started playing the first Witcher. Played it for
That's
about
a
an hour.
terrible move.
Yeah, probably not a good idea. But I did it for about an hour.
And so then that synth comes back in louder on the chorus, along with like everything else, along with that violin.
Yes. Sorry, which part are we on? I've lost
We're on the
track.
chorus.
We're on the first chorus?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yes. I don't have much else to say. Oh, there's that rhythmic synth jumps up like an octave or something. The bam, bam,
Right,
bam, 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 bam,
Bam, bam, bam. And there is like some actual just piano notes.
Yes, but just like a couple.
Yeah.
Like it's just a little bit. It's right after I think they say when they're playing, and it's like I was trying to figure out. I couldn't tell quite what it was, but yeah, it does seem to be piano. Like the first couple notes almost don't sound
Yeah.
like piano,
Dun, 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 dun.
but it's
Yeah,
like
just
very
a-
like echoey and like bright sound.
Yeah. And then we come to your solo or your instrumental break, which is I think tin whistle and violin playing the same part.
Yes, violin and a tin or penny whistle, which is
Hmm.
the same thing. I looked them up. Turns out, I mean, it's in the name, but they're so cheap. The most expensive one they had was like $25. I was looking on Long McQuaid website. You can just
Okay.
buy these things. They're just instruments that exist.
Damn, son.
Turns out. I also learned the difference between a whistle and a recorder. The
What's
whistle
that, Alex?
has 6 holes on the top, and that's all. The recorder has 7 holes on the top and a thumb hole. So the recorder is chromatic, but a tin whistle is diatonic.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go.
So that's a little fun fact for you there. And it sounds hella like fuck. I mean Irish folk, but I like really. Anytime
Yeah,
you're
it sounds
talking
like Van
about like
Morrison.
yeah, so like anytime you wanted something to sound like folk music from like the British Isles, put one
Yeah.
of those in there, and no one will question whether it's from the right region. And I honestly don't know
Yeah.
if it would or wouldn't be. So
Yeah. So you notice anything on this second verse? I don't really have any comments on it.
not much different. The rhythmic synth is cut down a little bit, and that's pretty much it. I think maybe the violin is there's a little more of that. But
yeah,
it's
I
not
think
a
it
whole
comes
lot.
in.
It's
Yeah,
not
I
a
think it
whole
comes
lot.
in even more prominently on the pre-chorus where it's
Yeah,
doing what would be
definitely.
the backup vocals in the original. Heartbeat, except it's
Yeah, man.
yeah, dog. And then we get to you said there was something different in the second chorus.
Did I?
I don't know. You seem to because you're like which chorus
Oh.
when on the first chorus. So
No, I
assumed.
just like forgot. I lost our spot, so I was just making sure I was on the right spot.
All
Did I
right,
write
dog.
anything? There's more piano. That
Okay.
it brings the
Shit.
like piano line from the beginning back. The
Right.
more, and like it's just like up more. There's a bit more stuff. They bring that
Mhm.
rhythmic synth back, which was there in the first one. So yeah.
Yeah, and as we start coming to the end of the song, we get another solo kind of vocals singing in the back
Yes.
around like 3:29.
Yes, that part the vocals you'll singing you'll know. Is that the what
Yeah.
you're talking about? Yes, and the like flute and violin part or whistle, I guess. From the solo is playing as well. So that's kind of like their build. So they bring that back.
They bring that back, and then it all fades out, and we get this sort of like monotone delivery of "Heartbeat drives you mad. Remember what you had." Very staccato in the words too. Heartbeat drives you mad. Remember what you had.
Yeah. So that's basically the reason I noticed that the video was not the same version, because it didn't have this.
Yeah. Now here's my question for you. It's transitioning swiftly into the music video, which won Best Adult Contemporary Video from Billboard magazine in 1998.
Wow.
What the fuck's going on in this music video, Alex? Why is it in a Chinese temple?
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know.
Is this song on the soundtrack for the hot 1998 film Rush Hour?
Is it?
I don't think so.
Okay. I haven't seen the hot 1998 film Rush Hour. But I don't think that in that. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, like, it immediately becomes apparent that we are like in at least some kind of Eastern temple, and then you see like Chinese characters. And of course they keep having just like panning over shots of these relief carvings of like East Asian dragons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bunch of shots of the band playing their instruments
who are
or singing.
the whitest people. They're Irish.
Yeah. Just like in this temple, like an old temple, and sometimes there's just this young boy who has oranges in a wash basin at one point, and at another point he is drinking from like a bottle or jug of water of some kind, and you can see his face is like inverted in the bottle, but like I don't think it means anything.
Yeah, and at one point he is wrapping his hands with some kind of like bandage or something, and then another shot he's holding a glass ball. That's around the crystal vision line. He's holding this fucking glass orb. And I can tell you, Alex, that it is not featured on the Rush Hour soundtrack. Jackie Chan and Chris Tucker did not listen to this during their buddy cop escapades. But the song "Bitch Better Have My Money," not to be confused with "Bitch Better Have My Money," the Ja Rule track is number 7 on here. So hey.
Interesting. Actually, the other thing in this music video is you get to see someone playing a drum that I'm not sure is in the actual song. But it's an Irish drum called a bodhran. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly. There's a little accent on the A, and I don't know what that does. So,
is that the drum that says "Goff" on it?
Does it say "Goff"? I thought it said "Corrs."
It has like the little dragon on it forming a G. It looks like, and then "off."
What?
Looks like it says "Goff."
I'm trying to find a good shot of the front of the drum, and there, I lost it.
Closer to the end, I think you can get a good shot on it.
I thought it just said the Corrs.
Is that what it says on it?
I think it might say the Corrs. I can't find a good shot of it.
Oh, yeah, fuck. Now I actually gotta look up the music video again. What's the song called? Dreams.
Fuck song are we doing?
Fuck. What did you... Overall, this is a weird one, because it, like, is a dance song that didn't want to be one, but now it is one, and also it's influenced by China?
Yeah, this music video made no sense to me, and I, like, don't care about it. Yeah, the drum says Corrs, which is their last name.
Oh, yeah, it just looked like a G.
It's a like really fancy swirly C, which might be like an Irish thing. That sort of typography. I don't know.
That sort of shit.
I don't know. I mean, it's an Irish drum, and they're an Irish family playing pop version of Irish music.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the logic follows that way of drawing letters, perhaps.
I wouldn't be like so like in any other scenario if this was just a music video and I like watched it, I'm like, okay, they're in a Chinese temple, whatever. But the fact that it won Best Music Video of 1998, Best Adult Contemporary Music Video.
I don't know what they were up against, but that makes no sense to me. I don't think this is a very good music video.
Yeah.
Maybe at the time the editing techniques were like really cool because it was like, look, they're layering images of themselves over top of, or they're layering images of dragons over top of like them singing. Like, whoa, amazing. Yeah.
Also,
I don't know.
Worth pointing out, since we've talked about it in other ones, copious face shots in this as well. we've been talking about some mid 2000s songs that always seem to focus on individuals' faces, and this one continues that trend.
Yeah, maybe this one started the trend. Probably not.
Yeah, maybe, because this is 1998.
This was
But man,
before they
yeah.
went with the fisheye. This was proto
Yes.
face close-ups.
So this is a reluctant dance version. Let's move into a one that really wants to be dance, which is Deep Dish featuring Stevie Nicks in 2005.
Deep Dish. Deep Dish is an electronic music duo. It is two Iranian American guys who do electronic music.
Yeah.
It's technically a
They,
Stevie
met-
Nicks album, right? Like it's Stevie Nicks album called Crystal Visions. The very best. Oh, this is a best of. I don't know what it's on. She did this with
Yeah,
them. It's a collaboration.
She did this with them. I think she's put it on a best of album. Yeah, this one. But earlier it's been on their own album or some shit. They've worked with a bunch of randos. I say randos, but like big names. I just
Yeah.
can't remember any of them right now. I didn't write them down.
They have
So this
worked
is
with
Ali
several
Dubfire,
big names.
Shirazenia, and Sharam Tayebi, who were born in Iran and met at a dance event in Washington, D.C. in 1991.
Yes, who are better known as Dubfire and Sharam.
Yeah, but here known as Deep Dish.
Deep Dish.
You've heard of the Deep State, but Deep Dish?
They've worked with Madonna, Janet Jackson, Cher, someone named Gabrielle, who I don't know.
Oh yeah, Gabrielle and I go way
She
back.
also has a debut single, Dreams. What?
Jeez, there's so many songs. We could honestly probably do a year of content on just songs called Dreams.
It has a sample from Fast Car. All right, so that is getting off topic. So, Deep Dish.
Yeah, so Stevie Nicks contributed a new vocal track to this remix. These are re-recorded Stevie Nicks vocals.
Yes, they are. And they sound like later Stevie Nicks. So how about that?
Yeah. Look at
Um,
that.
It opens with like faster drums, which is similar to the original because the original opens with like a little.
Yeah, that
little
drum
drum
roll.
fill.
It's like sped up and dancified. We get a
Yeah.
little more ring out on the cymbal at the end.
Yes, and then there's kind of like a synth or organ thing playing a similar line to in the original, kind of doing the dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun dun.
Yeah, it kind of pulses a little, so each one note is like kind of 1.5.
Feet. Sped. Man, I got so many typos in my notes. How am I supposed to know
glad,
what they
Alex.
mean? Fucking A. And yeah, it's got that kind of it's more of a dance track, so it stays kind of more
Yeah.
constant through the verse, and then adds some guitar in the pre-chorus.
Yeah. There's Boots and Cats drums going on.
And there's
so,
like this
what-
drum fill that comes in every once in a while. It's not like super complex or anything, and I swear I've heard it in other places, but they do repeat it several times. It's like do 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 do.
Oh yeah, it comes in around like the 40-second mark there. There's that. One of the more interesting things comparing this to the original is that the backup vocals are presumably exclusively Stevie Nicks.
Yes, it's all different versions of Stevie Nicks, or someone who sounds a lot like her. But I feel like if you got Stevie Nicks, you might as well just
Yeah, you get her to do all
multi-track
the
it, right?
tracks.
Like, I don't know. And of course, a lot of synthesizers. These are electronic music artists, so a lot of it comes from
Yeah.
synthesizers.
Yeah, so when we get to the chorus, we get like a sort of higher drum noise, and then just like more synths coming in.
More synths.
More synths,
That's the
baby.
Ethos. Is that the right word use of ethos?
Sure,
I'm not gonna worry
I'll
about
allow it. We get a robotic echo on the phrase "you will" that's repeated at the end of the chorus. You. And then this is a sort of instead of your guitar solo, you get sort of just like a spacey break, which gets like sort of overtaken by just some synths doing like a whoomp 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 whoomp.
Yeah,
whoomp.
you kind of get like it's the Rhodes part on that synth, but now it's like kind of modulated.
Yeah, meant to be very spacey.
Yeah, break down to that synth. Echoes, and yeah, that vocal just echoes. You.
Yeah. And then we come from that into the second verse, which, since this is a dance version, is pretty much the same as the first verse.
Yeah, pretty similar.
The biggest change I noticed, we get some acoustic guitar arpeggios and some synth near the end. Just of the song, not of the verse.
Right, yes. Which was like a little unexpected, because you don't always get acoustic guitar in dance versions. So that's
Yeah.
neat.
So yeah, her like final vocals ring out, "You will know," and then we get this dun 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 dun. And this song plays a lot with sort of the left and right on your speakers, because you can hear that guitar amongst other things that will kind of travel between them.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And like also at the end, it doesn't come until like 4 minutes. Like we're like well into the outro. She's kind of just repeating "You'll know."
Yeah.
You get this. It's just like a synthesizer, kind of like doing a fast sweep back and forth. Like whoosh, 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 whoosh,
Yeah.
whoosh.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of that kind of stuff. For sure.
Yeah. So, and I mean, so this kind of effectively takes Stevie Nicks' dance drum beat that she built the original to, and then it's just like, and now it's all dance, baby.
Yeah, whole thing. And like speeds it up a bit. Not like that much, but it speeds it up for sure.
Mm-hmm. And then it takes us out of the song with that same sort of Mick Fleetwood drum roll.
Yeah.
Dum, dum, tss.
Yeah, and then it just like rides out on that cymbal. Like
Yeah. So I think
cymbal hit.
this one capitalizes pretty well on taking sort of the simple playing structure of the original, particularly in the rhythm section, and just making that a dance beat. Like, it sounds good.
Yeah, it's a lot actually longer than I remember it being.
Yeah.
It moves through at a pretty good pace and like doesn't like waste time or anything. Wait, I was talking that whole time when I just stood up and moved over somewhere. That was dumb. Did you hear me?
I did hear you, but it's gonna sound like absolute shit in the recording.
Let's try that again because all right, yeah, for some reason I decided I'd get up and close my window, mostly because the sun was shining on me and it was getting hot. But what did I say? Yeah, the song is like longer than I remember it being. It moves at a pretty good pace without like shortening the song necessarily, but it also kind of fills the time pretty well. So
Yeah.
that's pretty good.
Pretty good. Did you see the music video for this one, Alex?
No, I didn't.
Alex, you fool!
I found so many music videos.
Oh,
Music
Lord, I only
video.
found the first few here.
I mean, mostly just all Lissie. And someone called
Okay.
Jaguar Dreams. But that we're not talking
Jaguar
about that one.
Dreams. Good, thank God. Yeah, we missed some quality music videos last week for The Tide is High, Alex.
Really?
Yeah, Seed has one.
Oh shit.
And it's like 90s as shit. They record most of it underwater in a pool. And they're like playing instruments under the water and just like hanging out and having a good time.
That's fun. This seems to be mostly a woman sleeping on snow with a blanket.
Yeah, did you ever play the game Braid?
I did play the game Braid.
You know, did you beat it?
Yeah, is this happening backwards?
Yeah. So he like lays her down to die, and then suddenly she starts living life in reverse motion. She's wearing red. The actress is Winter Ave Zoli. That might be her name. Plays the protagonist in this. She's best known for her role as Lila Winston in Sons of Anarchy, a show I have not seen.
Of course, Sons of Anarchy, that show I totally haven't seen it.
Yeah, so he puts her in snow, gives her a little pat on the head. She rises in reverse motion. A teacup jumps back into her hands. We're gonna see a lot in this music video of cups unbreaking themselves and teapots unbreaking themselves. They really loved that in the reverse motion department. They were like, hell yeah, play it backwards.
Yep.
That broken thing just came together. The teapot reconstructs as she lies on a table. She's on this table where all these like, you know, early 2000s Mad Hatter looking motherfuckers, fucking Tim Burton fans are gathered around her laughing and giggling. I don't know if they're like doing things to her.
Well, I think they're
or-
cultists.
Yeah.
I mean, we already know the story because it's happening backwards. They seem to poison her.
I suppose
with
so,
the
but
tea.
it seems like they poison her because the poison must be in that cup she drinks from, right? But they've already
think
got
so.
her on this table unconscious.
She's conscious for some of it. She's like,
I
everyone's like
guess.
laughing.
Yeah, and then at one point she's on the table, but she's also up looking at herself.
Yes, possibly a reference to like dissociating.
Yeah, possibly. So then she closes the curtains on this event, which is I'm assuming we're still in reverse motion. So then she goes from there to this just like regular party dancing footage. And then eventually there's this old lady, and the old lady like kisses some kid on the forehead or some shit and sends him off, and then shares a meaningful glance with with our woman in red here. And then our main character, runs into the night wearing all white, and then she's tossing around in a black space, and then she winds up in a bed. I
Now
don't
you got to
know what
describe it
make
in
of
reverse.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know necessarily the significance of it happening in reverse.
I don't either. Because when it happens in the hit indie video game Braid, it's a mindfuck. Because you think you are helping this princess run away from this big scary knight, but then you beat the level and you... Spoilers for Braid, by the way.
Yeah, it's only
People
been
care
like,
about
what,
that.
12 years?
Yeah, but then you have to use the reverse time function, which you've been using for the whole game, but you do it and you see the whole level play out in what turns out to actually be forward motion, and it's you chasing after this princess as the knight tries to stop you.
And it's
It's
about
wild.
the atom bomb.
Yeah, dog. It's
Or
all about the atom
something.
bomb. That game was... I still don't understand it, but it's fun. It's a good game. Anyway, maybe the old lady's the future she lost. That's all I've got.
Sure, yeah, I'll accept it. I mean, I barely watched it, so
All right, Alex.
I'll
With
believe
that, we're
anything
going to
you tell
talk...
me.
Okay, we'll talk about the Kills in 2012, who were an English-American rock duo self-described as bluesy punk.
Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
The Kills, yes. Apparently they met at some point and started collaborating by mailing tapes to each other, but then decided
cute.
that was too hard, so they just both went to the same place. Like the guy
And
in
also
England went
the
across to
separate
America.
bands they were in kind of dissolved, so they...
They decided to become a together band.
a together band. This is Allison V.V. Mosshart on vocals and English guitarist Jamie Hotel Hintz
Vivian Hotel.
was the original name they went under. These guys have opened for Guns N' Roses and worked with a bunch of other bands. This is a real stripped down lo-fi version.
Yeah, very much stripped down, like garagey, because there's a lot of like weird sounds. I guess. I don't know if that's garagey. I guess the use of like
That-
feedback and stuff.
Yeah, that
distortion.
punky sort of garage energy.
Yeah. Like it comes in with like feedback and then these drums, and I think the drums are like a big part of the sound here because there's
Yeah.
never really like a straight drum beat or anything. It's kind of like playing on these toms, just being like.
Yeah, the start,
it's
it's a big, just
separated.
one tom drum beat. With
Yeah.
this like chugging rising guitar pattern in between it. This ding 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 ding.
Yeah, and it ends up being like very sparse, and that's kind of how it continues. Like it doesn't change a ton. I guess it does. A
Yeah,
bit.
it gets
I
a
guess
little
the
more
changes
later
that are
on.
there are kind of noticeable because there's not a whole lot.
Yeah,
going
there's so
on.
little going on. We've got her singing quite low. Being all lo-fi and shit.
Mm-hmm. Yes, get the like kind of break up around the edges of the vocals. Sounds
Yeah,
like it's on an old microphone. Like you'd expect
you
from a lo-fi vocal.
Yeah, you particularly hear that breakup when she actually sings a little harder. What you had, and you go, oh shit. There's like you can hear the fuzz around the end. And then also, this is where it picks up is when we start going into I think it's when we hit the chorus.
And then like the drums kind of.
Yeah, and there's a guitar beyond that.
Oh, that
sort of
starts in
chugging
the
rhythm
pre-chorus,
one.
but
Yeah, that starts in the pre-chorus.
so this have a very distorted bass in it? Is that what, like, there's a guitar and then like a bass that doesn't sound totally like a bass?
I mean, he's a guitarist, and she doesn't play any instruments, so it's entirely possible it's just 2 guitar tracks.
Yeah.
One
I
that
wasn't
is, I'm not sure either, so I'm leaning towards that just out of a simplicity solution.
Right, because then you don't need as many instruments. But where's the fun in
Yeah.
that? Where's the fun in not collecting too many large pieces of hardware that are difficult to move around with you?
Yeah, it's a real joy. You just never move anywhere, and then you're fine.
Yeah. Never move anywhere in life. That's my advice.
That is
Don't
my
change
advice
anything.
to y'all. That's right.
Just keep it the same. That's how we solve our problems. Ignore them.
Speaking of things that don't stay the same, these drums and guitars as we hit the chorus.
Yes. Kind of get some more guitar licks in the chorus.
Yeah.
But they're short.
Yeah. Very.
And then as we near the end, you kind of get that. Happens a lot in lo-fi stuff when you start to build and it starts to get kind of cacophonous because you have these like a lot of high frequencies sort of intermingling in the background.
Yeah.
As part of all the different parts.
And the drums have moved to this like sort of tom drum roll that ends in this like clacking. I don't know what kind of percussion that is, but it goes like tink tink.
Could just be hitting the side of the drums.
Could be, yeah. But yeah, it's still not quite like a solid thread of a drum beat. It's this, it's fragmented.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially, and yeah, it's just weird sounds too.
Mm-hmm. So then we come down a little bit for the second verse. It's louder and more aggressive than the original, but it's not at the chorus level. Then we really build the cacophony for the second chorus. And she emphasizes the last words of lines a lot in the chorus. What you held.
Yeah, kind of causing that like microphone like breakup effect.
Yeah.
In particular, I guess her instrument is the microphone.
Must be. Around 3:28 we get some vocal harmonies.
Harmonies?
Or like a backup vocal.
Yeah, there's like male backup vocals from the other dude who goes by Hotel.
And this is where she's really pushing on her vocals. He's playing in the low area, kind of just talking out the lyrics.
Yeah, and like as that sort of distortion grows, and then the decay on the guitar is very like modulated, like woo 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 kind of.
Yeah.
And it ends pretty fast.
Yeah, sort of 4 minutes. We're going back down. We're down to basically just the drums doing their fragmented rhythm, and then that rhythm guitar from the start, or a bass if it is that.
Right. Yeah, and I said it ends fast, and I guess I should qualify that because there's actually a fair amount of just the instruments playing at the end. Once the sounds stop, they don't like fade out. Yeah.
Yeah, and then things start to pick up a little more at 4:35. We get the guitar kind of ringing out a bit, but it just kind of leads back to the end. It tries to go up and then falters.
So it does.
That's this version. It's certainly interesting in that it tries to use like as little as possible. It
definitely tries to change things to the point where it's even like, in particular on the chorus, she'll like emphasize different words. So like in the original, it's pretty distinctive how they say it, like when the rain washes you clean, you'll know. Whereas she says like when the rain washes you clean, like it's just different.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of further separating.
Yeah. We're in more of that punk like realm with this, so it does stand out amongst other covers. I don't know if it's the greatest one, but it's
Yeah,
interesting.
I wasn't 100% on board. I respect that they're trying to change something. Maybe this just isn't my style so much. I don't think it totally came together ultimately.
Yeah, it does just feel a little too empty, maybe, in the end.
Yeah, maybe, or something. And maybe it's just not my preference, but it was respectable.
It was respectable. And with that, let's talk about another respectable cover, the Electric Peanut Butter Company in
Electric
2013.
Peanut Butter Company. This is another case of a person from the UK and a person from, I don't remember if it was like the States or if it's Mexico. I'm
Hang on,
blanking.
which one? Sean Lee is an American musician.
American? Oh, okay, he's American.
Yeah.
Never mind. For some reason I
is-
must have read the wrong thing.
So it's
or mixed
Adrian
up some
Quesada
information.
and Sean Lee. And Adrian Quesada is in Texas, is based in Texas. I don't know where he's
Texas.
originally from, though.
All right. Well, maybe I mixed it up with something. Anyway,
Maybe,
so we got an
Alex.
American musician and a musician from. You say England? I was gonna say the UK. Yeah. Anyway, so it
I
is.
don't know. I don't know where Adrian Quesada is from.
Oh. In any case, and they were able to collaborate successfully remotely because they used the internet instead of mailing tapes back and forth.
That's right. It's his 2013 baby. So Adrian Quesada is known as a film composer. He's also associated with the acts Brownout, Ocote Soul Sounds. That might be Ocote Soul Sounds. Grupo Fantasma. Those are among his credits. Sean Lee is Sean Lee's Ping Pong Orchestra fame, as well as Young Gun Silver Fox. He's one half of that.
Oh fuck!
And other
I
projects.
forgot to look them up because I was like, this sounds like Young Gun Silver Fox, but it doesn't say that in their description.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, damn.
Yeah, I had to like put a lot of pieces together to
But
find. 'cause
I forgot to
they're-
actually Google the band.
Well,
So Ping Pong
Alex,
Orchestra.
cool.
Did we talk about a Ping Pong Orchestra cover already?
I don't think not
Because we've
officially.
talked
as far
about
as I
them,
know.
but I don't
We've
know if
talked
we've
about
ever
them.
talked about them on the show.
Yeah. And actually, we've talked about Young Gun Silver Fox as well. Again, I don't know if we talked about them on the show or just to each other.
Yeah, because I listened to some Young Gun Silver Fox. Well, this version kind of sounds a little Young Gun Silver Fox. Not a lot, but it's in there.
Not a lot. It really, for me, seems to draw more on the Ping Pong Orchestra side of things.
It's all there, man. But this does
all there.
remind me of a little bit of what I've heard of Young Gun Silver Fox.
All right. So it's this whole thing seems to be based around. It's almost a wall of sound, but everything's a little more too distinct to make that blended sound.
Right. Right. It's definitely a lot more things going on than particularly than the last version, which was very sparse.
Yeah.
Comes in with like this cool bass line.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little. It's definitely more like groovy than a lot of the other ones.
Yeah.
Got that thing going on.
Yeah, it's leaning towards like funk almost.
Yes, and then like with that high guitar.
Yeah. And that high guitar is essentially playing the same progression that the bass is playing. It does a few alterations like within that, but they're basically following the same notes.
They're just like very far apart.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought I was gonna burp, so I became very silent.
And then we get so hand drumming as well as a kit on this. Pretty much just keeping up a steady rock rhythm on the kit.
Yeah, but it's groovy, man. It's groovy, baby.
It's good. It's a good rhythm on this. I'll say I'm not crazy about the singer on this.
No?
No, there's something about the voice doesn't do it for me.
I guess so. I would compare it to Richie Havens, but there's a lot more like effects going on here, and it doesn't have that same.
Yeah, he's not
confidence,
playing in
I
that
guess.
sort of low bassy range.
Yeah, well,
Play
no,
it
that's
the
true.
way you feel it. He's very almost nasally.
Maybe I didn't bother me the vocals here personally. I don't know who sings
I don't know either.
because I know a lot of Electric Peanut Butter Well, maybe not Electric Peanut Butter. I know, like, Ping Pong Orchestra stuff, a lot of it's instrumental.
Yeah, and they usually get guest singers if they do have a singer.
So if this is a guest singer, I don't know who it is. If.
Yeah, and so for that section I was referencing with the nasally singing, there's a different singer that comes in to say it's only right that you should. And then the main singer comes back in to say, play it the way you feel it.
That's a little odd.
Yeah.
Is it a different singer? Or is it because they do kind of like change the way it happens? Like
It's
that part's
a different
very
singer
like.
because that singer comes back in to do the backing tracks.
Okay. Yes, that part is a little odd because he definitely has like a different effect on his voice. It's like separated kind of into two. Or maybe it's just two tracks.
A little discordant for me.
Right, that you should, and then like goes back into the. So it is a little weird that they would switch that off. Sounds kind of cool, but I don't know if it's necessarily coherent.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't. If there was an idea there, it didn't hit me right.
Yeah, yeah. But they do kind of do that in that section where like the vocals change up. Because they do kind of double up on the vocals for a second there. And that reminded me of, like, some Steely Dan songs, because they have those, like, really tight harmonies. And I think that's what's happening with those other vocals, is there's, like, 2 or 3 tracks there where they're harmonizing with themselves. Kind of sounds like the backup vocals in Peg.
Okay, yeah.
Which is a Steely Dan song.
That is a Steely Dan song. Yeah, like, so I'm talking about the instruments. Like, everything seems to be like forming just sort of a unified groove.
Yes, it's that kind of a situation where they kind of sink into a groove for the song.
Yeah, where nothing's really leading on this. Everything is just serving that groove. So you get, like, on the chorus, you'll get some more organ on it.
Yeah, which I think can be kind of like a funk thing. Where like the music doesn't necessarily move, but like it's the groove's so good it doesn't have to.
Mm-hmm.
Or yeah, that's the idea. Anyway.
This funk works for me, whereas something like Scary Pockets doesn't.
Yeah, this one, it's kind of it feels more unassuming. Like it's just, I don't know why. But I'm also not totally on board with Scary Pockets a lot of the time. And even like this is also a cover, like of a not funky song going into like this funk context. I don't understand the difference. But
yeah,
this works pretty well.
Yeah, it works pretty well. So we do get that high electric guitar that does some like noodling on the second verse, but again, it's still just in service of the groove. It's just kind of attaching on rather than stealing focus.
I guess the other part of this is much more like a studio thing. It's not like there's a video of them performing it live, which I don't know what the actual difference would be there, but that's kind of the superficial difference.
Yeah, I suppose so. Worth mentioning on the chorus, there is a bell that comes in at the end of lines.
Yes, the bell. Oh.
Yes.
And
yeah, all this, yeah.
There's an organ that comes in later on too, which just funky, man.
Yeah, it's they just set up a great instrumental groove. I don't like the vocals on this. You found them fine, that's fine. Didn't hit it for me, but I did find the instrumentals really good on this. And I did think on 250, where I think he hits the high notes, I actually thought he did a good job. So yeah, even though overall I didn't like the vocal performance, still hits some of the high notes. What more can you ask for?
Yeah, didn't bug me, but sometimes there's just like frequencies that don't jive with your like ear for some reason.
Yeah, I suppose so.
For reasons we can't explain, or I can't explain. It's like how some people don't like cilantro.
Yeah. And like how some people pronounce it cilantro, not cilantro.
Yeah. It's like how some people still believe in vowels.
Yeah. Here's the one thing I forgot to note is the use of that sort of punctuation to shift between segments, because they do that instead of a instrumental break or a guitar solo.
Okay, which are you referring to?
So like a full stop on instruments, doom,
Oh, right.
and then you jump into the
next
next segment.
Which is kind of like a great groovy thing to do, because like you set up a groove and then you take it away and you're like, it's right back into it. Like, it's like you thought we were gonna stop being groovy, but we didn't stop being groovy.
But we didn't. And yeah, this version's 3 minutes, so it just kind of gets in and out.
That's true. It's a lot faster.
I think they were just like, we really want to set up a fun instrumental segment. I feel like the vocals are sort of an afterthought. And then it's
kind of more like they have a song and they're like, what can we put on it? Dreams? Sure.
Yeah, because what's followed by Dreams on this album is a fully instrumental take of Dear Prudence by the Beatles, called El Prudence on this album.
Oh, they got some sitar going on. I think my mouse is dying.
Rest in peace, Alex's mouse.
I like these mice, but they last like a year and then the clicker stops working.
Well, fuck that, man.
Anyway.
So that's this one. An interesting groove. Again, I don't think it quite hits at that quality that the original has, but it does stand as a little fun experiment, which is something nice. With that, we're going to move into 2019 to Lissie.
Thunder only happens when it's raining. Players only love you when they're playing.
Yes.
Was an American singer-songwriter who opened for Lenny Kravitz in 2008 after Lenny Kravitz's friend tipped him off about her MySpace page.
This is the slow piano version.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like it very much.
You didn't like? I actually thought it was pretty good. She opens with this like tinkly, rainy piano. This. Yeah.
I didn't like hate it.
It's quite clear she's
lukewarm.
a big Stevie Nicks fan. I think
she definitely has a Stevie Nicks sound like to her voice.
Yeah, and in her bio on Spotify, it mentions a Stevie Nicks-esque song, which leads me to believe that part of the reason this one doesn't stand out is that she is unconsciously sort of aping Stevie Nicks as she sings because she loves Stevie Nicks.
Possible. It's possible.
But I thought she delivered a clear, strong vocal performance. This is sort of the whispery bullshit we get.
She does have a pretty good voice. Singing wise,
yeah, and while it is a bit boring and long, no, that's okay. While it is a bit boring and long, I think she does a few little tricks with the piano to try and keep it interesting. That sort of like running,
yeah, that like twinkling effect. I guess it keeps it like fairly sparse and then brings the effects kind of back in throughout.
Yeah,
at different points.
Like if we're talking sparse versions, I think this one probably works better than the Kills.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that.
Yeah. But yeah, ultimately I think there are much more interesting covers, and it's a slow piano cover. We have to come in pretty critical of it.
Yeah, it's kind of loses a few points for that. There is a little piano solo right after the chorus, which is kind of the bridge or whatever. A lot of grace notes on that piano, which is just like when you play a quick note before your actual note.
Okay.
A lot of that going on.
Is that just a stylistic choice, or is that
it's kind of a way of playing. I don't know if it necessarily means anything.
Okay.
But as someone who plays some piano, that was like the first like cool effect thing I learned, so I like to do that too.
Right.
When I can.
Yeah, that's really all I have to say about this one. I'd say better than a lot of the piano covers we see on this show.
Yeah, pretty straightforward overall, but it's got like a solid build to it. Like as the piano ramps up a bit throughout but stays small, and then yeah, like we said, that twinkling sound. Did you call it twinkling? I called it twinkling.
Yeah, twinkling.
Piano
I think
sound
I called
comes
it
out a couple times. So it's nice. Everything about it is like nice. I didn't think it was like super remarkable or anything, but
yeah, it's not mind-blowing, but
yeah.
I mean, in the league of cover versions it's amongst of, these piano covers, yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
No Peter Bent, but it's all right.
We've seen worse.
We've seen worse for sure.
Fuck.
Alex, you said there's a music video for this. Is it just her playing the piano?
No, it's mostly her like sitting in the wilderness. Sometimes it's in black and white, sometimes it's in color. I think it like she lives in like Iowa, I think. So I think it might just be like around where she lives or something. I don't know what the Iowa landscape looks like. But it's just like her with a coat on and like flowers sometimes. There's not a lot going on and she sings.
Right. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing it.
Just lots of shots of her singing. And sometimes it's in
there
black
she's
and white.
in the greenness. Oh, there she is. This could be a version of Landslide.
Yeah, it could definitely be Landslide.
Okay, so yeah, it's her like
It's like it's her vacation shots, but they're put through a vintage filter.
Yeah, and here she is singing under a blanket. Okay, yeah, it's fine. It's,
Yeah.
it's, if you had to put something together on short notice to be like, this needs to be evocative. You're like, I don't know. I went out on a hike the other day, took some shots, and I'm like, great. Let's throw some singing shots in between.
Let's do it. They better be Polaroids. Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah, we need this to look like it was shot in 1980. All right, fair enough. Way to go, Lissie. Putting in I mean, it's an earning a paycheck kind of performance on this all around.
Sure.
You did your part, and we're not sending it back for another edit. It's good enough. With that, let's talk about Pop Etc. in the year 2019 as well.
Yes.
Formerly known as the Morning Benders, this is an indie rock band from Berkeley, California, based in Brooklyn now. They've had some critical acclaim. Their album Talking Through Tin Cans was deemed the best indie/alt album of 2008 by iTunes. And they've played with some big acts that I forgot to list here.
The Kooks, Death Cab for Cutie.
Yeah.
Probably some other ones too. The Black Keys, allegedly.
The Black Key, yeah, that one didn't have a citation. This is, imagine if an indie band from 2008 was transported to the year 2019 and then just they're like, you now have to play Dreams immediately or we're going to murder you or
and
something.
They were like, someone bring me an acoustic guitar and a fucking, I don't know, echo pedal.
Yeah. And that's it, baby. That's it. We had some lo-fi string slides on this. It's acoustic guitar.
Yep.
He's doing his whispery indie baby voice.
Yep.
It might be double tracked. It's the most boring one to me.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot going on here. They kind of keep it even, mostly just strum, kind of like a bit muted, and sing the song, and like that's it.
Yeah. The most interesting part of this is the end when he puts the guitar down and starts mumbling some other song.
What song?
I don't know.
Let's find out. I'm listening right now. No idea, but he just starts singing another song.
He does start singing another song, and it doesn't connect. I checked on the EP, and it doesn't connect to the next one or anything. It's just like
gets cut
some
off.
shit he
It's
left
not
in there.
Fingerprints.
You would think, like, if I had just recorded a song and I was putting the thing down, I'd probably still be humming. Like if it was Dreams, like thunder only happens, I'd probably still say that part. But he's on some other shit.
More songs should lead into each other. That's what I think.
I agree with that as well. Yeah, this one's boring. It's an acoustic cover.
Yeah, I didn't
been
notice.
Great in 2008.
Like,
it would
not
crushed.
really much of note. Like I'm looking through my notes. I'm like, yeah,
and there is none.
It's an acoustic cover with spacey vocals. Okay.
All right. So we got 3 categories for a final verdict: best version, worst version, and the version you'll play while looking out the window on a rainy day.
On a rainy day.
Alex, what's the worst version of this and why?
What is the worst version of this and why is it the worst version? I mean, all of them I either thought were okay or like kind of respected to some degree, but like Pop Etc. was just like boring. And
even
like
the name itself is like
yeah. It's I guess like very dismissive of themselves. Like it's self-effacing or something.
Yes.
I don't know. And like the other ones were like fine. That one was even probably I didn't really like Lissie that much either. But between those two, that Pop Etc. was definitely the less interesting version.
Yeah, I agree with that. Worst version, just nothing to offer. At least like Lissie had some technique she tried to make the piano version pop. And while it wasn't like 100% successful, it felt like a good effort.
Yeah.
Whereas Pop Etc. was knocked out in 2 minutes. This is less time than it took to write the song.
Definitely. Definitely.
Alex, best version.
Best version. I think there were a couple good ones. A couple ones I liked. A couple ones that were interesting. But ultimately, and I think it's close, but I think Richie Havens wins out in the end. He's just got a good sound. And
Yeah.
And I like the way he sounds, man.
Yeah, I really do like the sound on Richie Havens. For me, I'm gonna actually pick fucking what is it? Deep Dish featuring Stevie Nicks, because
Dish.
It picks up on that dance beat that kind of is hidden in the original,
Right.
and it gets Stevie Nicks on the track, which is impressive, and plays successfully with the simplicity of the original, and does these different synth noises that say like, "Hey, this is Dreams," but it's also
Not
like
dreams.
a little off, which
It's
is what dreams are, where it's like the thing you
It's
recognize,
a nightmare.
but a little off. Yeah, potentially a nightmare. Also, the music video is weird as shit, but like, I think that's actually a mark
but
against
honestly,
it.
like the music video is weird, but like it's way more effort than like the Corrs one, which
Oh,
apparently won
yeah.
awards. It's like, hey, let's do this whole thing and then let's do it backwards. I'm like, okay, that's an interesting idea. Like, let's tell this whole story backwards.
Yeah.
And then like there's this weird ritual and someone gets killed or whatever. And maybe it means something and maybe it doesn't, but it's like a story we filmed.
Yeah, it's at least visually compelling.
Yeah.
Even if they are a little too obsessed with like, look at this thing reform.
Look, guess who dropped another mug?
Yeah, and it's always like they couldn't think of anything else that could break and reform. They're like,
what do you drop on the ground? I don't fucking know, man. A teacup? Like
a teacup? They're like, what about a teapot? Like, yeah, fuck it.
Smash that China shit. China being the material.
Yeah,
porcelain.
Not referring to the Corrs music video, which is for some reason shot in a Chinese temple. So yeah,
True.
I'm gonna give it to them because hey,
yeah,
dance music's got to have their wins on the show too. And
True.
It might as well be.
Doesn't
this
happen
one.
that often, but
Alex, what's your rainy day track?
Rainy day track. Feeling a little sad. I feel like it's too obvious to say Lissie because staring out the window and listening to slow piano music like that's.
Oh yeah.
You know what my rainy day music is? It's some good old Irish folk. Listen to some Corrs, and then listen to their song "Breathless," which is the other Corrs song I know.
That's right. Which I forget how it goes.
Right.
Leave me breathless. Yeah. Good choice. I'm gonna go with Richie Havens because that's just a comforting voice to have on a rainy day.
That's a good move.
Rainy day, Richie Havens, old Rainy Richie.
Rainy Richie.
That's our verdict. If you got a different opinion, similar opinion, or want to talk to us about a cover version we didn't talk about, hit us up on Twitter, #CoverMePod, @JakeTheCressy, @SomeAlexWiseGuy, or you can reach us at our email at covermepod@gmail.com. That's covermepod@gmail.com. Send us your comments, questions, concerns. Rate and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher. I think we're on Anchor. I think we're on Amazon Podcasts. They sent me an email and they're like, it's here, and I couldn't find it. But I don't know. If you guys can find it, let me know.
I didn't even know Amazon Podcast.
Stop using Amazon for podcasts.
Yeah, I didn't even...
Also. That said, we've got a bonus segment. There is a lot of songs that are called Dreams. This is an old chestnut of a bonus segment. We call it Same Song, Different Chorus. Today we're talking about 2 songs with the name Dreams. One by the Cranberries. And one by Van Halen. Rest in peace, Eddie Van Halen, who passed recently.
Mm-hmm.
Alex, I'm going to read you some lines.
Okay, I want to say these are not songs I know very well.
That's actually very good, because I tried to make these as difficult as possible.
All right, let's go.
Because if you look at them, they're very distinct. Here we go.
Yes,
I'm just gonna feed them to you. The truth gets left behind and falls between the cracks.
Cranberries.
No, Alex, that is Van Halen.
These are all guesses, so.
Okay, I mean, that's naturally yes. I want more.
Cranberries.
That is the Cranberries. I wanted to trick you with that one. I thought that was going to be the... That sounds like a Van Halen kind of
Guesses, man.
All right. Next one is Ah La Ya La La Ya La Ah Ah.
Fuck. Cranberries.
That is the Cranberries. I know I felt like this before, but now I'm feeling it even more.
That's gotta be Van Halen, man.
It's not. That's
Damn
the
it.
Cranberries.
I should just say Cranberries for all of them. I should have stuck with my guns.
Oh, that's what dreams are made of.
Cranberries.
No.
Damn it.
And in the end, on dreams we will depend.
I listened to the Cranberries version because I kept searching dreams and that's what kept coming up.
Yep.
But I still don't know it very well. I listened to it like one time. And like I recognized the song.
Right.
I think it's popular enough, you know?
Oh, yeah, it's just the lyrics you don't know. It's
yeah,
fine.
I don't know the lyrics at all. Cranberries.
It's not the Cranberries.
Ah, it's
That's
Van
Van Halen.
Halen.
You reach for the golden ring. Reach for the sky.
See, now I want to say Cranberries, but here's the thing. If you look at the Van Halen album that Dreams is on, there's a golden ring above the man. So I think I got to say Van Halen, just for that reason alone.
That is Van Halen, Alex. You should listen to both of those songs. They slap. Dreams by Van Halen is really one to get you going.
I have never given Van Hagar a chance, and I should.
You should. They got some good shit. That was our segment. You got what, 2 right? 3 right, I think.
Who can remember?
Anyway, that was our bonus segment, which brings us to the end of the episode. And as we always say on Cover Me only happens when it's Tuesday. Or, whatever day you listen. But
you can't listen unless it's Tuesday.